This is year 9 notes. We're in unit 1 and we're looking at multiplying fractions. So multiplying fractions, you may be glad to hear, I think is nearly more straightforward than adding them. You don't need a common denominator, and the rule is simply top times top, bottom times bottom. Now there are a few other rules we can make our life easier with, but we'll come on to those in a little bit later on. So top times top gives me 6. 7 times 5 gives me 35, and that's my answer right there. Top times top is 35, so 5 times 7 gives me 35. 16 times 2 gives me 32, and I would change that then to 1 and 3 over 32. A third squared is of course the same as a third times a third. And top times top, 1 times 1 gives me 1, 3 times 3 gives me 9. This is where things start to cancel down. So of course we can do 16 times 28 and 35 times 32. As you can imagine, it's quite tough to work those out. However, if we can find something that divides into a number on the top and the same number divides into a number on the bottom, we can cancel down. So I can see that 16 goes into both of these. It goes in 1 time here and 2 times here. And I can see that 7 goes into both of these. It goes in 5 times here and it goes in 4 times here. 1 times 4 is what we're left with on the top. That gives me 4. Sorry, I should have cancelled something else there. We can do it in a second. 5 times 2 gives me 10. You can cancel things that have already been cancelled. So this 2 and the 4 would have cancelled. That's why this cancels down a little bit further now. And we end up then with 2/5. Take a look then at the next page. There are 3 fractions here, but it shouldn't be anything daunting. Again, we can cancel out anything that cancels. So I can see the 9 and the 3. That goes 3 times. That goes 1 time. The 8 and the 32. 1 time, 4 times. The 3 and the 27. 1 and 9. And the 6 and the 9. 2 and 3. So let's see if it's sometimes hard to see what you're left with here. 1 times 1 times 3 gives me 3. 1 times 2 times 4 gives me 8. Starting to look then at mixed numbers. So we can only multiply fractions that are mixed numbers if we make them top heavy. So I would rewrite this then as 1 times 3, so it's going to be 4 over 3 multiplied by 4 over 7. There's nothing that cancels here, because remember the 4's can't cancel, they're both in the top line. 4 times 4 is 16, 3 times 7 is 21. A very similar question then in number 7. 2 times 21 gives me 42, plus 4 is 46 over 21 multiplied by 7 over 23. Again, as ever, if you know your 46 times tables, knock yourself out, but there are things here that cancel to make our lives easier. 23 goes into both of these. That goes in 2 times and 1 time. This goes in 3 times and 1 time. Everything cancels down nicely. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 sevenths of 42 doesn't really look like a similar question, but it is. If you wanted to, you go the old method and just find 1/7 by dividing by 7 and times by 2. But this is actually the same as multiplying. Of means multiply whenever we're dealing with fractions. So that's the same as 2 over 7 multiplied by 42 over 1. So again, you can see we can cancel here. The 7's are going to go 1 and 6. And that leaves me 12 over 1, which then is of course £12.